Greetings from the House of Representatives. This is your State Representative, Condotta, and things are moving right along here in Olympia. It is getting interesting that we're already doing late night sessions or night sessions in general so early in this session. This is very unusual for a long session, but we have changed the program here from former years. The difference is that we are concerned about the time it will take to do the budget this year. You've all heard about the budget issues. Well, we've shortened the policy part of our program by 2 weeks, and so all those bills have to get out a lot sooner, and there is a huge rush. As a matter of fact, there are the potential for almost 7,000 bills to be dropped. Is that what we heard? It's amazing but true. Not very many of those will get through, and the fact is shortening the policy section will put less bills on the floor, so we'll have more time to discuss the budget. About the budget, the first supplemental budget was passed off the floor. This is our first attempt to correct the current budget. Not the one forward, the one we are in right now. We came up short and we had to make some corrections. Unfortunately, these corrections may not go far enough when we get the next revenue forecast, which is in March. That concerned me because I don't want to continue to tell people they have money and then tell them they don't. We've done enough of that. We cannot continue to make promises that we cannot pay for. So we'll be looking for further developments on that in the near future. One of the most controversial bills on the Hill this week is called the Employee Privacy Bill, brought to us by the unions. This is extremely controversial because it has to do with First Amendment rights. It basically says that employers cannot discuss certain issues with employees, including religion, unions, and politics, in any kind of an organized meeting. We certainly disagree with that under the First Amendment, but that bill is moving forward and has some very potentially very dangerous implications. A number of very, very large companies are very concerned. It is obviously aimed at some non-union companies and gives the unions a big leg up on how they discuss these issues with employees. We'll see how that goes. We appreciate all your input. A lot of folks called and emailed that they don't want anything to do with that bill, including my own staff, and we'll do our best to defeat that idea. The governor's stimulus package is up this week, and the fact is it is only one-sided at this point. It does create some additional money in the unemployment compensation system. In other words, people that are on unemployment will get some additional money. We're not necessarily against that idea. However, it does absolutely nothing to stimulate the economy and keep jobs whole. In other words, there's nothing for business, no breaks for anyone that will keep the jobs that we have. It simply says we'll help the people that have already lost their jobs. We don't think that is the way to go about this, particularly since the reason we can even do this stimulus package is we have an excess money in the unemployment fund paid by all our small businesses around the state. They've overpaid almost $2 billion, and I said billion with a B dollars, into this fund, and the governor wants to give $200 million, about 10% back to the folks that are getting unemployment. Again, we don't have an argument with that, but we've got to do something to stop the bleeding, and we need to reduce some of the taxes on our businesses, particularly payroll taxes that they've already overpaid. It's not too much to ask. We'll keep working on it. You see this button I have on, it says no bailouts. You're all concerned. Now, this is state business we do here, but we are all concerned about the national situation. After $1 trillion deficit last year, we're talking about another $1 trillion in spending. Folks, if we put $1 trillion in last year, that's a stimulus package. Where are we at? Do we really need to spend another $1 trillion? We're talking as much about that down here as some of the local issues, and I'm sure that discussion is going to continue as the Senate and House in the other Washington debate this very serious issue that could create a deficit and a debt that we can no longer deal with. We'll continue these discussions and more next week when we revisit the House of Representatives. This is your state representative. We'll see you soon.